Holy fuck, they did it. It has been so long. I have been wanting a Starfinder 2nd Edition since I was even introduced to Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We just finished filming a Starfinder campaign, like a short little thing. Look out for that. That's coming soon. And I really wanted to play Starfinder. We started playing Starfinder, and after playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition so much, I was like, wow, this system needs a little bit of work. Okay, all right. How do we convert this ourselves? But we're not gonna have to do that because today at GenCon, they announced that they are going to make a Starfinder 2nd Edition. Here's the really cool thing about it, is that it's going to be completely compatible with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So you're going to be able to swap characters in and out with each other. So if you want to take your Pathfinder 2nd Edition character and put them in the Wonders of Space, well, guess what? You're going to be able to do that. I will say this is specifically for the remastered version of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Based off of what they have told us about the remaster, it doesn't seem like it's going to be wildly different so much that it's the normal Pathfinder 2nd Edition and the remastered are going to be so off that you're also not going to be able to make your Pathfinder 2nd Edition work with your Starfinder 2nd Edition, but like there's some wonkiness within that I feel like it's necessary to like point out. But it wasn't just an announcement that they made. They also released their first field test, which is their kind of way of showing what they are working on, maybe test a little bit of things here and there. With this one specifically, they did all of the announcements within it. They also talked about the Soldier, which is going to be a class within Starfinder 2nd Edition that is going to be a tanky boy. And not only will they be tanky, but they're also going to be focusing on guns, lots and lots of guns, and a lot of like AoE stuff, which we're going to get into because we're going to actually break down the first 5 levels, which is what they gave us in this field test. But before we get into that, I want to talk about a couple of other little small things. One, they are planning on dropping these field tests between now and summer of 2024. And in the summer of 2024, they're actually going to do something similar to what they did with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which is release a Starfinder 2nd Edition playtest. Now, I don't know if they're going to do printed books like they did with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but we know that that's when they're going to launch it, is summer of 2024. And then they're going to use the playtest information that they get and then turn around and launch it sometime in 2025, which, if Pathfinder 2nd Edition is any form of indication of whether that's a true timeline, it seems pretty accurate. I'm like wildly excited about this. All right, so let's jump into the Soldier. The Soldier's key ability is going to be Con, which, okay, that makes sense. They're supposed to be tanky, and they're going to be getting 10 plus their Con modifier for hit points each level. Sounds perfectly normal. That makes sense. They're also going to have all of this goodness. I'm going to leave it up here for you to pause and read it if you want to. What I will say is that it is lined up exactly like Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So if you are familiar with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you will be able to move back and forth pretty easily without, you know, being confused or having to search for things in different spots. Like it is one for one. It is très magnifique. Very similar to the Game Gorgon breakdown videos. I'm gonna break down them by class. It's only the first 5, so let's look at all of the stuff that they get into first level. I'm not gonna go over all of the things that you would get outside of the class. Like I wanna talk specifically about the Soldiers. So the first thing is going to be suppressing fire. If you make an attack with a weapon that has an area effect, such as the area fire or auto fire actions, you can use it in a manner that suppresses your targets. Creatures in the affected area who fail their save against your attack become suppressed. Suppressed until the start of your next turn, a suppressed target takes -1 circumstance penalties on attack rolls and takes a -5 status penalty on its speed. Okay, but just firing away at someone that's in there, making them make a save, that's cool. First level. I'm trying to think of like in aspects. I mean, giving someone a -1 circumstance penalty and a -5 status penalty for speed is really good, especially in combat, right? Especially if you're going to be doing a lot of range stuff. You don't want someone that's melee coming towards you. -1 to attack rolls. Love this. It does say until end of turn. So, I mean, it works while you're until the beginning of your next turn. So, balancing wise, I have no frame of reference other than Pathfinder. So, giving your enemies status penalties, cool. The next thing you're also going to get at first level is primary target. When you make an attack with an area of effect weapon, you can choose to make a ranged attack roll against a single creature either adjacent to the center point of the attack or the closest within a cone or line, instead of requiring that creature to make a saving throw. Other creatures within the area of effect must save against the effect as normal. If you successfully hit your primary target, then the target is suppressed until the start of your next turn. So this feels like it just goes hand in hand with suppressive fire, right? Like, I feel like you would be using primary target with suppressive fire. You fire it, you are aiming specifically, your one target is there, but if there are multiple people, they're all making the save. That one target, you just have to make a melee attack. Doesn't seem like it does damage, so it's feeling like a battlefield manipulation kind of move, right? You're focusing specific targets to make saving throws instead of doing direct damage. All right. Next, you're going to get a soldier fighting style. This seems very much like the choice that you make with a lot of Pathfinder 2nd Edition characters, like a Rogue's Racket, fighter abilities, cleric abilities, like where you choose a specific route that you're going. Not like feats, because there are feats on top of that, but this is just kind of like an overall branching theme that you want your soldier to take. The first one of those choices is going to be Armor Storm. Foes you suppress quickly stumble while attempting to overcome your durability, granting you an edge in absorbing their incoming fire. You likely move to the forefront and try to focus your enemy's attention on you. You never count as being in the area of a ranged weapon you've made an attack with. In addition, you gain resistance equal to half of your level, minimum 1, against attacks made from suppressed targets. Back to Tanky Boy. So if you're in the middle of a fight and you use like an AoE circle thing, you never take damage from your own abilities. I dig that. That is like, I mean, I don't know if this is how this works, but like, it'd be very interesting, like, you know, firing a shotgun up in the air and like having the pellets fall around you. So it's like the circle, like if it's a circle effect, right? And you being in it, you just never take damage from your own ability. Also, the fact is that you're suppressing all of those targets, AKA, again, this is sounding more and more like a battlefield manipulator, right? You're suppressing these targets, and guess what? They're also doing less damage to you. I love this. I love this for everyone. Next one is going to be Bombard. There's nothing like a reliable heavy gun to get you through a tough time of adventuring in space. You come to terms with the fact that your weapon might sometimes hit your allies, but work to minimize such instances of unintentional friendly fire. In fact, you've honed your skill with heavy weapons so much that all but the most indirect of strikes causes your opponents to duck down or force them to adapt to the havoc you unleash. When you attack with an area weapon, you adjust the shot to allow allies to better avoid it. Decrease the DC by 2 for any ally who needs to make a save against your area effect. In addition, enemies who succeed, but not critically succeed, their save against the area attack you make are still suppressed until the end of your next turn. I love the theming behind it, that you're just like this chaos monster of Bulletstorm, of just like, right? Like just this constant like firing, and that your allies are in my mind, I want to theme it in a way more that instead of you being used to firing around your allies, that your allies are used to ducking and dodging around your shots. I mean, that would just be like my jamming aspect of it. But like, This is interesting because I think that this would be really good if you're the tanky boy, but you also have a ton of other melee-based classes in your group. So, like, if you're a tank and you have mostly wizards or rages or whatever, like, this means nothing. But if you're in there and you have a rogue in your party or a swashbuckler or something along those, like, styles, you're going to want this so that your allies are in a much better spot. The next one is closed quarters. While you still have the necessary training to employ heavy weapons, you've learned that it's important to keep a backup for when your foes get too close. You're able to easily switch between long range and close combat, allowing you to better stand your ground when you need to, or defend your allies in a tricky situation. Blows with a heavy, close combat weapon punish your foes just as effectively as when you fire a rotolaster or a missile launcher. When you successfully make a strike with a two-handed melee weapon, you suppress the target until the start of your next turn. In addition, you gain the Punitive Strike reaction. Punitive Strike. Reaction. Trigger a suppressed creature within your reach, uses a manipulate action or a move action, or leaves a square during the move action it uses. Your foe's momentary lapse in defense gives you an opening. Make a melee strike against the triggering creature. If your attack is a critical hit and the trigger was a move action, you disrupt that action. This strike doesn't count towards your multiple attack penalty, and your multiple attack penalty doesn't apply to this strike. If I'm playing a soldier, this is what I'm playing. Like, just flat out. Like, I'm going to want to go in there with a big, beefy, like, laser sword that I'm just wielding around, just hitting people. I think, like, the caveat is the fact that you suppress the target until you, like, with a successful melee attack. So you're only suppressing one target instead of theoretically an area. So there's that aspect. I wonder if there would be, like, later on feats or abilities that, like, allow you to do, like, a wide swing that will allow you to hit multiple enemies. And if that were the case, could you suppress effect on each one of those? I really like that. Punitive Strike. It's just oh my God, what is it called?
6.5 hours later.
Oh my God, what is it called?
12 seconds later.
Attack of opportunity. This sounds like a very specific attack of opportunity. Instead of anyone in your area that does those things, it's just the person that you suppressed. I don't know how I feel about that. I have a mix of emotions. I like it because then it's making it so that the tanky boy suppresses multiple people. So, like, they hit one, then hit the other, hit the third one, and tries to do it in that way versus just constantly beating on one person. So I kind of like that aspect of it, but it also just feels like a weaker attack of opportunity. So I feel like it's 601, half a dozen, but none of there. The last one is going to be Walking Armory. You bring the heaviest armor and the largest weapons to bear, but also have the capability of carrying them all and keeping up. When determining your strength threshold for using medium or heavy armor, you can instead choose to use your Constitution modifier. If you already meet the strength requirement for the armor you're wearing, reduce the armor's bulk by 1 to a minimum of 1. In addition, increase the amount of bulk you can carry before becoming encumbered by half your Constitution modifier rounded up. Increase your maximum carrying bulk by Constitution modifier rounded up. All right, I'm gonna say this, okay? A lot of people are not gonna choose this one or this option because it's talking about a lot of things that people do not care about, okay? It's talking about bulk, it's talking about carrying capacity, it's like everyone's gonna gloss over it. It's a lot of words that say a lot of things that they don't care about, but they're gonna be wrong. This is actually really great. Being able to use your Constitution modifier instead of your strength modifier for your medium and heavy armor is really strong. If you're not planning on being a melee fighter and you're purely going to be using your weapon, this is great because then you can dump strength as a stat, push it into Constitution because you're already going to be doing that because you're a tanky boy, right? Like, this is just reducing the amount of stats that you have to put skills in. You know, you can put skills in charisma to intimidate, but you're getting bulwark, so you're not really having to do that unless you want to be that charismatic archetype, right? But then you can put it into dex for your weaponry. You can put it into wisdom to make it so that your character doesn't get mind controlled. You can put it into intelligence and get more skills that you're trained in. Like this is very good. I have a fear that a lot of people are just going to read the bulk and read the encumbrance and all of that stuff and just be like, nope, not interested. But I think this is really good. Like really, really good. That is all you're going to be getting from first level. I say all of that is all you're going to get, as if that wasn't a lot of things, but you get what I'm saying. Second level, you're going to get a skill feat and a soldier feat. Now, I'm not going to go over feats now. I'm going to go over them at the end. I picked one feat from each of the level groups that they gave us, and we'll talk about them when we get there. Now, level 3, you're going to get fearsome bulwark. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier about reducing your charisma modifier. Your sheer mass terrifies foes when they see you. You can use your constitution modifier instead of your strength modifier on intimidation checks. Yes. Intimidation is one of the strongest skill feats in this game. Not only can you demoralize people and give them a status penalty, but eventually if you start taking additional feats, you can get to a point where you can scare people to death. Like, how is that not amazing? And the fact is that you're now going to have, if that's something you want to do, if you want to scare people, if you want to use intimidation, you don't have to dump any points into charisma unless you want to be that charismatic front person that is going to be out there, is going to be like, you know, talking to everyone and is trying to negotiate. That would be the only reason you'd have to put points into charisma. But the fact is that you're meant to be intimidating because you beefy. It's like, this is great. I love this so much. It's so strong. At level 3, you're also going to get a skill increase in general feat, whatever. Fourth level is same as the second level. You're just going to get a skill feat. You're just going to get a soldier feat. Again, I say just as if there isn't cool stuff in the feat section. At fifth level, you're going to get your ancestry feat, your attribute boost, your skill increase, and your soldier weapon mastery. This is the same as all of the other kind of like fighter weaponry mastery. You're just moving up your training in the weapons that you're proficient in. That's it. That being said, now that we've gotten through what you get from the first 5 levels from this class, we can talk about some of the soldier feats that make this more of a unique class. Now, I chose one from each of the sections, the one I liked the most, or in one case, one I liked I hated the least. One I hated the least. So, first level, warning shot. Trigger, you roll initiative. Requirement, you are wielding a weapon with area or automatic trait. As combat begins, you unleash a quick volley with your weapon, forcing advancing foes to cower on approach. Make an area fire or an automatic fire with your weapon, and creatures in the area take no damage, but must still attempt a save to avoid being suppressed. So you roll initiative, you have your weapon, you're able to make them have 5-foot penalty on their movements and a -1 to their attack rolls. Like, this is great. This is such a cool, like, oh, you're coming at me. No, chill out. You know, like, I love this. This is really, really, really good. I love this. Second, if you've read this, if you've gone through it, you knew I was going to pick menacing laughter, right? Menacing laughter, an auditory ability for the soldier. Your laughter or suitable battle cry can somehow be heard over the din of your weapon's fire. Attempt imitation checks to demoralize each creature within 30 feet you suppressed this turn. You are just awesome. If you mix that with the armor storm, where you get to fire and take, like, not hit yourself while in that like area of effect, you can like be in there, suppress everyone around you, and then just maniacally laugh to turn around and to demoralize them. Like, this is great. -5 to their movement speed, -1 to attacks. Oh, also they're demoralized and have to deal with all of the aspects of being demoralized, like battlefield manipulation. And then again, we add this up. Scare them all to death. I think this is very good. I love this one. The The 4th level options, I didn't love them. The one I despised the least was Punishing Salvo. It's a 1 action requirement. Your last action this turn was a primary target strike. You can make a 2nd strike against your primary target, ignoring the effect of your unwieldy trait that prevents additional attacks. This doesn't make a new area attack and is instead treated as just a single strike against the target made using the primary target rules. Cool, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You can't start with Menacing Laughter with me and then this be your other option though. Like, you have Menacing Laughter. I don't know. I really love this. I think this is awesome. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about that. There's also a whole section in this about all of the guns. There's also 2 creatures in there. If you're interested in me going into that stuff, let me know in the comments. I'll make another video if you guys really want me to. If not, then we'll see you at the next field test, because I definitely am going to be keeping up with this because I am so ecstatic and so happy about this. Also in the description there will be a link directly to Paizo's website that will give you where the play test field test information is, so check out that. Until next time everyone, see you around, Space Cowboy.